Welcome to Mrs. Royce's Accounting Lecture Series. Today the topic that we're going to talk about is how to post transactions from the journal to the general ledger. Remember, journals are where we record financial transactions in chronological date order. So what we're doing is we're working on the accounting cycle. The first one is we've been analyzing transactions since about the first day of class. We've been working on making journal entries, and now we have to post to ledger accounts. And why do you think that this is necessary? My question is when we were making journal entries, could you tell the owner of the business, if he asked you this question, what is the amount of money I have in cash right now? Can you? No, you can't, which is why when we're looking at the ledger or when we're looking at the journal, it's just a list. This is what happened on April 1st. This is what happened on April 3rd. Is this important? Absolutely. The importance is showing what has happened on each individual date, and also, was it a receipt? What document? What source document originated this transaction? So if the owner ever asks you what happened on a certain date or wants proof of what's on a certain date, we can give that to him. So that's the purpose of the journal, is to be able to give you an organized place to put all of your information. It does not answer the question of how much cash, if Mr. Delgado or any owner comes to you, how much cash do I have on April 15th? Unfortunately, the general journal form does not answer that question. So what we have to do is we have to post each of these transactions that we have put in the journal and post them to individual ledger accounts. For example, this is the general ledger. The general ledger, as the account is written here, it is cash. The account number is written here. And this is where we list all of the cash transactions that happened. So you're going to list the cash transactions by date. This way, if on April 1st we did this, and on April 3rd we did this, and on April we did this, and then here we're going to eventually have a balance. And you will be able to look at Mr. Delgado and say, yes, we have this much in cash. If it is a debit balance and it is a cash account, is it a positive or a negative balance? Perfect. Yes, it's a positive balance, because remember, the normal balance for a cash account is a debit. Let's say it ends up being a credit. Does that mean we have money in the account? No, a credit would be, that's not the normal balance of the account. The credit would then be a minus in cash, and we would have to tell the owner that, nope, I'm sorry, we're short this much money. Not a good conversation to have. So what I want to do is I want to go through the 5 steps of posting to the ledger from the journal, and we're going to do a few step by step so that we can get the hang of this. So the 5 steps are, when we're working with the ledger, is of course we have to write the date. Item number, not so important right now. Post reference number is important. This is the page number from the journal that references this item. Why do we need this? Checks and balances. This way, if he says, well, what happened on this date, you can go to this journal page and say, oh, journal page number 1 on April 1st. Oh, we did this. And he'll go, oh, that makes sense. Now I remember that we did that. So this is just another check system. Then you write whether it's a debit or a credit amount, And then you keep a running balance. And this running balance is important because that tells you how much money the owner has or owes in a certain account. Okay, so let's get started. Let's analyze the first transaction. So we're going to look at the journal, and we have to do April 1st, and the first transaction that we are going to have to post to the ledger, and these are words that I'm going to use every single time, posting to the ledger. We will have to go, April 1st is our date, and then we have to find the cash journal. Remember, in the ledger, in the general ledger, there is separate accounts for each account that the company uses. So we go to ledger. We are going to write in the date. We do not need an item number. Write the journal page number. Where do we find it? Oh, right here. Go back here. Write the general page number. So it's going to be G1 for General Journal 1. Now, we look back at this. Cash. Are we in the cash? Yes, we are. Great. Cash, what happened? $2,500 debit. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to post that amount into the debit. That shows that we have $2,500 in the debit. Now, we have to carry the balance over. Okay? So there's no credit in this transaction. Remember, one line, one transaction. We move it over here and we go, okay, is this a debit or a credit balance? What number do we write here? 2,500. Now, if Delgado comes to you and says, how much cash do I have on April 1st? You open up your ledger page, you look at this, and you say, oh, okay, sir, you have $2,500. Perfect. You know the balance. Now, so we've done the first ledger. Now, we used cash account, right? Account number 110. Now, when we go back to try to keep track of this, we have to go back to our general journal and show that we posted, post reference, the cash transaction. So how we show that we did that is we write the account number in the post reference column. Now you know that you posted this part of the journal entry into the ledger. Then if you go, okay, now have we posted the second part? No, we haven't. Is this used? No, it's not. So now we have to go and post the second piece. So we find, and this is in Delgado, but we find Omar's capital account. So we look through the general ledger. We find his capital account. It's account number 310. Okay. We have to put in the date, right? Remember the 5 steps. April 1st. The post reference number. What is post reference? Does anybody remember? Yep. General Journal page 1. Go back and look. Was this a debit or a credit entry? Awesome. It was a credit entry. So you go here. You look here. Do we post it here in debit? No, of course not. We post it here in credit. It was a credit entry, remember? Perfect. So then you type in $2,500. There's his credit entry. Now when we go to balance, is it a debit balance or a credit balance? Just carry the balance over for the first transaction. It is going to be a credit balance of $2,500. There you go. So we posted it. Question. Is this a positive or a negative balance? Because remember, debit and credit only mean left and right. This is a capital account. What is the new balance of a capital account? Normal balance, I mean. What's the normal balance of a credit account? What is it? Yes, you're right, it is credit. So he has positive money in there. Okay, so we've posted this. Am I forgetting anything? Yes, I am. We have to go here and we have to put in the account number to show that we posted it. 310. Boom, you're done. You've posted your first general journal entry into your ledgers. So now let's see what happens when we post our second one. Let's take a look at it. Again, as you see, April 3rd, right? It was prepaid insurance for $330. The first thing that we do is we go to our ledger. We find our prepaid insurance. It's not accounts receivable. It's not supplies. Here's prepaid insurance. And we enter the date. The date was April 3rd. Do I have to write April every time? Yep, here we do. Post reference is? Yep, you're right, journal page. Okay, what did we do here? Prepaid insurance was a debit for $330. So we will debit for $330. Do we carry the balance over? Yes, we do. Is the balance a debit or a credit? There you go, $330. Go back here, remember your account number of 140. Did we post this? Yes, we did. We put in our account number of 140. That was the account number, right? Okay, now we look at our second transaction that we have to post to the ledger, and it's cash for $330. What's the first thing that we do? Yep, you got it. You go to your cash ledger, okay? And then you write the date. And then, where are we getting this from? The post reference number is general journal page number 1. Now, was this transaction, this cash transaction on April 3rd, was it a debit or a credit? Let's look. Cash, because we paid for something for $330. So in order to record that, re-record that in the credit, because the money came out, right? Now, this is the tricky part. We now have to rebalance the account. So to balance, you take your debit, and we both know that a debit, we have positive $2,500 in the account, yes? But we've spent $330. We subtract that out. That gives us a balance of $2,170. Now, is that a debit or a credit balance? Oh, please say debit balance, because you would be right. So you would type in 2170 here, because that is the debit balance of the cash account. So now if Mr. Delgado comes to you and says, how much money do I have on April 3rd? You can go, open your general ledger, look and say, oh, you have $2,170, sir. And he'll be like, okay, great. All right. What is our next step once we've done this? We go here. And we say, okay, what's the cash account? Cash account is 110. We posted it. So now we know we have posted these transactions from April 1st and 3rd to the ledger. All right, let's do one more because I don't want these videos to be too long. Let's look at the next account. Oh, on April 4th, supplies. We must have purchased supplies for $160. We didn't pay cash for them. It's an accounts payable. So let's go ahead and post this to the ledger. So we find the supplies account. Supplies. We insert the date. April 4th. It is still on General Journal page 1. Did we purchase those supplies? Yes, we did. So we're getting them in. So there's the debit. Now, what is our balance in our supplies accounts right now? Yes, you got it, $160. Okay, now it shows that we bought them from Ready Supply. So now we have to find the Ready Supply account in the general ledger. Here it is. So the date was the 4th. Post reference number, again, General Journal page 1. Now, is this a debit or a credit? If you can't remember, you go back to the journal entry and you look at it. That's why they were so important. Okay? Accounts payable. Oh my goodness, it's a credit. All right, well then I have to stick it in the ledger that way. So it is a credit for $160. Now we make sure that we know the balance of the account. So we insert in, we have $160. Okay, here's the account number for Accounts Payable Ready Supply. Where does this account number have to go? Perfect. To go back to the General Journal and put it in there. $210. Oh, but I did this one. Oh, I forgot to put the thing in there. You can always go back, but make sure that you posted it. The supplies account number is $130. So now you're done. This is how you post from a general ledger to a general journal. This tells you how much cash, how much supplies you have on a certain date, prepaid insurance, how much you owe in supplies, how much capital, and we will just keep going with this, and these will grow. Well, I hope this helped you. If not, you know you can stay after class or ask me questions during class. I'll see you later. Bye.